Good afternoon and happy Thanksgiving Eve, and welcome to week number 5 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3. And this week it is a mystery. And I've already noticed we've got some language on the bottom that makes me wonder. Hi, I'm Adirondack Rook, being joined by Tracy M. So what's going on with this language on the bottom?
We've got some sort of Randomizer thing going on. Either boss or just enemy, or it could be both. We'll find out right away if we're at the regular Randomizer. And if we do see enemies shuffle, we won't know about the boss Randomizer until we actually go to a boss. However, if we don't see enemies shuffled, then we'll know it's boss Randomizer. So, but definitely something Randomizer related going to show up. I don't see any other starting items. So, we'll see if it's open, if it's a standard, or some sort of entrance shuffle. Lots of possibilities here.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of options that can happen with this mystery seed, and we are going to start
standard.
with
Okay, we got a boots hints. Boots in Skull Woods. Okay, so just a note on these boots hints, and fair warning to those of you that haven't raced yet. We've already seen runners miss those.
Hey, Tracy.
Yes.
Notice what's in that upper left-hand corner?
Upper left-hand corner. We see a flute.
Yeah,
we got a starting flute. Yeah, I guess I've heard there's some sort of glitch that the flute doesn't always show up on the menu, so hopefully the runners recognize they have that flute. I think they usually come active, but they'll have to test that when they get there. And let's see. I think this will be a normal. Yeah, we're going to get a hammer here. So this is the old-fashioned standard where you get a random weapon, but a hammer's a good one.
Yeah, at least we now know it's not vanilla swords, because that could make things interesting in a different kind of direction. So we have daaanty over on the left-hand side, representing the 2019 Titan Mids of 2019, trying to keep up with Pug Trio, who is the division leaders here in the Kakariko division, and Synack of the Bomb Squad, trying to keep up as well. And with a 4-4 record. And so let's go ahead and see what we have in store for us this time around. We don't know if this is going to be an entrance shuffle just yet, because we are not going to find out the answer to that until we leave the sanctuary.
And maybe not even just then, but I will point out we don't see regular enemies shuffle. So it looks like we're going to have a boss Randomizer and not a regular Randomizer. But yeah, just to piggyback on that thought, we've seen a couple of races already where they've gone through the escape and they've gone out the entrance and then they dropped down into the forest. And at least one of those times, it turned out that there was Ganon sitting there waiting for them.
It's always a real fun discovery. Here you are, you think you're perfectly fine. Oh, hi, Ganon.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we won't know for a while what our goal is. We don't have a Triforce on because we'd see the pieces listed up top. But it could be, we don't know what the number of crystals are. Could be anywhere from, I guess, 0 to 7. Could be, although it's weighted higher for the numbers in terms of actually killing Ganon. Could be a fast Ganon. Could be, and we don't know what number of crystals will be required for GT.
We're already finding half magic, which is a real nice discovery here. And as you noted, we don't have Triforce Hunt. So here's how the Randomizer is going to work out. Obviously, we've got the 80% chance of a no shuffle. And also, we notice that the key sanity is not a factor in this, at least with
at least not big keys.
Also, the small key, since, well, I don't know. I want to think that the key here that they found in Zelda's cell would have mentioned that was the key to this dungeon.
Yeah, it would. So this key right here that Synack's picking up right now. Oh, no, it is big key shuffle because it has the text on it. But not small keys, because the small key just was the small key. So that small key would have had that text.
Well, stay tuned, everybody. We're going to figure this out over the course of the next several hours. Those of you who are familiar with me during the course of the Mystery Week in last season know that I can kind of lose my mind over the course of 3 hours trying to talk about this stuff. So about the Randomizer, we now know that the normal enemies haven't been shuffled, but there's still a
No,
It showed up with the
boss
text at the
enemies.
bottom.
Yeah, so the bosses are shuffled. And there's 3 different ways the bosses can be shuffled. I don't know if it really is relevant to talk about that right now until we actually start seeing them.
Yeah, there's simple, there's full, there's random,
Yep.
and we'll talk about that when we get to the first actual boss of the game.
And one thing also to note is because this is not the boot start that we were getting in week 2, the runners are going to want to look for some bombs. Looks like the soldiers are not in any sort of bomb prize pack. I wasn't paying that much attention to the drops, but the rats could still get us something.
So could the ropes, but daaanty only gets a heart.
Well, the ropes are the same as the soldiers, so if we've already ruled out the soldiers, and we could just find bombs in the chest there, and it's just not an issue anymore.
I guess in that case, we don't have to worry about that all that much. And so therefore, with the 3 bombs in hand, daaanty will go ahead and check out what we have in the back 3 of escape momentarily while Synack trying to kill some ropes. And he does get a bomb off a rope.
Oh, so the bomb. Okay, the ropes must have been the prize pack that starts with the small magic.
Yeah, I saw
that would get you a single bomb drop if you go long enough. And Synack does get his bombs out of the chest, so he has an extra bomb, which gives him 3 for Kakariko, which is not bad. Assuming this is not entrance shuffle, in which case you just want to have bombs.
Don't die at this stage in the run here, daaanty, as we get the map, and there's the big key to Skull Woods and a glove.
And map's not shuffled, but we don't know about compasses. Since in Mystery Week, maps, compasses, small keys, big keys are all separate shuffles.
That's nice and simple. All right, well, let's get to the end of this and open up the chest to find our first
nice
sword.
So we are definitely not swordless. We just have regular shuffled swords.
I think that's actually going to be music to Synack's ear, and we do see the map layout with a blue painted over at Eastern Palace, and the other 2 are crystals.
Actually, chat making a good point about these are the different shuffles are separate. They're not separate in entrance, so we do know now that it's not entrance, not even entering any other locations. In entrance shuffle, it's either full on cross keys or no shuffle at all. And daaanty gonna skip that piece of heart.
And there's another big key right there, and that turns out to be the big key of Desert Palace.
Yeah, okay. Chad also making a good point. I say cross keys, but what I mean, of course, is it's full on shuffles. Because it could be a simpler version of the entrance shuffle.
Yeah, it could be simple. It could be the cross keys versions of it. I think the one that's missing, well, it can't be Insanity.
Yeah, where even Skull Woods gets moved around and you have your drop downs all weird. But
and you go in one hole and it's one place, and you go out the other hole and it's a different place.
Yep. Okay, so daaanty gonna go ahead and get into Kakariko.
Checking the back or the Blind's hideout here, and we're gonna go ahead and find our Blind's hut. Get ourselves a piece of heart, a heart container, a shield, and 3 more bombs to help out the daaanty with the bombing that he needs to do for this Kakariko village.
Pretty good on bombs now, because the next place you would want to potentially have a lot of bombs for is Mini Moldorm Cave, but we got weapons for that, so the bomb count is. You just need to make sure you have bombs to enter Mini Moldorm, and if you want to do Ice Rod Cave and Saha and some of those other checks.
Interesting note in chat, and the fact that they're wondering how long it could be before we check Desert Palace. We're just a fire source away from checking that, although we do get the bow here in the well.
Which, of course, could lead us to Eastern Palace. Of course, it's pending Eastern, so not sure the runners will want to finish that. But saying that, we don't know the goal. The goal could be a pedestal goal. So it might be that we actually want to do the pendant dungeons. We won't know until we get into the Dark World and we check the sign in front of on the pyramid.
That being said, there is still a 10% chance that this is a pedestal seed.
Yep, that's what I'm. Yeah, exactly. So we won't know until we check. Haven't seen one of those yet this week, although it's not like I've watched every single match. So it would be interesting if something like that came up.
Interesting thing is that they could read the pedestal if they really wanted to.
They could. Do you know? I don't know the answer to this. Does it have a separate, any kind of special message if that's the goal?
I think it mentioned something about the Triforce, if I remember correctly.
So that actually, in a mystery seed like this, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
But we do have access to the Dark World already.
I know. Gosh, less than 10-minute Dark World access in a standard mode. That's really quick. We'll see if either one of them goes into the Dark World early.
He's changing course.
Yeah, looks like he's headed towards one of those things. Oh, or did he just skip this one check?
Oh, sick kid.
Oh, sick kid. Okay, yeah, I got a bottle. And sick kid has a key to Thieves Town. Oh, that's an important key.
Now, this is interesting, because remember, we got the hint about the boots being in Skull Woods, so I'm wondering if one of these two make a beeline for that portal once they're done with the Kakariko Village checks.
Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good idea.
In fact, I think that's where Synack's going.
Yeah, it also requires that they caught that there was a boots hint. And we've already seen, I've seen, at least once, and possibly more than once, where runners have missed that boots hint. And a blue bottle sitting there on the race game, that'd be a nice little luxury to have, but if you're going to blind check it, you're not picking that up.
Daaanty heading over towards Desert, and we are going to get that pet check here from Synack.
Oh, I wanted to see the Skullwoods play, but okay, let's see the pet check. Just couch cash. Okay, so we know it's not a ped goal. But I think it's a really good, reasonable play, especially with Eastern being a pendant. So if that turned out to be a ped goal, then you just rush Eastern. I mean, I might still get my boots in Skullwoods first, but definitely would prioritize getting towards Eastern.
I think that's where Synack's going right now.
I think you're right.
Now, Daaanty is going... Are we fluting to 3? No, we're not. We're fluting to 7.
And the standard opener after Kakariko, go ahead and do your South Shore checks. Now, just hope for Synack's sake that those boots aren't in the back of Skullwoods, because without a fire rod, we can't get there. And with big keys shuffled, we haven't seen compasses yet. I'm going to assume those are not going to be shuffled either. But with big keys shuffled, it's going to be 3 items in Skullwoods instead of the regular 2. He's going to have to go get a key or fall down the hole to do the rest of the front. Looks like he's going to go for the hole. And hopefully he finds the small key to get out of here. I think he has to find a small key, because there are 3 small keys to Skullwoods, and it can't be one on the boss. So, and there's 3 checks here. So at least one of them has to still be a small key, since we've seen the other front checks.
Oh, that worried me right there. We do get that small key right there. That Gibdo does do 2 hearts of damage, so that's not something you want to have happen.
But nice mini Moldarm Cave, a Master Sword, and a hook shot for Daaanty.
And the final check coming up here for Synack in this section of Skull Woods.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be really careful of these Gibdos.
Yeah, he's fine at this point, and nothing there. So one last check that is in logic at this point without the fire rod.
Yep, and we hope it's there, because otherwise, might be a while.
Map check there. We see 5-6. Turns out to be Skullwoods and Meyer. Green pendant down at the Swamp Palace, and the other pendant being Turtle Rock. Because why not?
Yeah, of course. And of course, realizing now that there could have, there was not a guarantee of a small key because of the wild big keys. Unfortunately for Synack, he was able to get out, and there was a small key there.
Yeah, let's see how Synack can do against the Gibdos that want to get in your way. Looks like he's just trying to take this patiently here. Ooh.
Careful.
Got him in the wrong spot at this point. Need to get him away from that opening.
And with only a fighter sword, this is really tough. It's like 8 hits or something
He's got it
ridiculous
now.
like that. Okay, we're good now.
Oh, he's going to just make sure he doesn't get grabbed. There we go.
Yeah, as long as you're prepared to listen for the hand dropping down, you shouldn't get grabbed there.
And it's fire rod blocked.
Oh, okay. So the boots are behind the fire rod. So it's good knowledge for Synack, but unfortunately, it's not going to give him any kind of advantage here.
So at this point, you just have to leave and come back a little bit later on.
Yep. Meanwhile, daaanty going to go up to the mountain. Going to take that hook shot he got in Mini Moldorm and go over to East Death Mountain. And we see a 20. Now, that could just be the flute, but it also could be an indication of a hard mode or an... I don't think expert's in the shuffle, but it could be an indication of a hard mode.
Well, expert item pool is a potential. It's a 5% chance.
Oh, expert is in there. Okay.
However, I don't know if half magic is covered in expert.
I want to say that's not an expert.
You know, the interesting thing about getting the early Dark World access is just the amount of divergence that we have going on here.
Yep. And a bomb boast for daaanty. Yeah, because so much opens up so quickly when you get that early Dark World access that there's just so many choices that you're going to see different runners make.
I think Synack right there was thinking about a save and quit, but is going to be choosing to go a few other places. And if I'm Synack, I'm looping all the way around to the pyramid to find out what my end goal is.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. We did see some powder over on daaanty's side, which may, nice luxury item, and may or may not lead to anything. I'm gonna do a bomb jump so we can get over to Spiral Cave, and maybe do Tower of Terror as well. That is a crystal, and we even have he has. They both have big keys to it. Of course, with the hook shot, he could also Hera pot.
Now, one thing to note here is the amount of crystals that is going to be required, since this is turning out to be a normal non-entrance shuffle. We need a minimum of 3 crystals to get into Ganon's tower, and a minimum of 3 crystals to defeat Ganon.
Of course, we can't even find out the Ganon's tower requirement for quite a bit, because we'll need those mitts to do that. Hopefully Synack will loop all the way around and let us know what the requirement is for defeating Ganon, and whether it is a fast Ganon or not. We'll know that based on whether there's a hole in the pyramid.
daaanty giving us another check over here at the Ether, and that's another big key. This is the big key to Misery Mire.
That's an important one. And we're going to go into Tower of Hera.
Flipper's also on the floating island, chat noting. Synack's going to have to be careful. Down to 2 hearts, and just about anything here is going to send him back to start, and this would not be a really good place to send him back to start. Another big key. This one, the big key to Ice Palace inside the Tower of Hera.
Logically required, but not actually required. We know lots of ways to break around the big key in Ice Palace.
And the big key to Dark Palace being found
that one is required.
Synack. There's the fire rod.
So now if you're Synack, you go right back to Skullwoods.
5 hearts. You do
Five
have a
hearts,
bottle.
green mail moth. I mean, it could be. It doesn't have to be on moth, but even if it isn't, that's quite the. It's a triple dip there.
There's
The
Eastern
key to
Palace
Eastern.
Big Key.
That's another important one.
We
Okay,
have
we
now
are gonna
seen
go-
all of the small. We've seen all the big keys except for Swamp and Ganon's Tower.
That's actually pretty amazing. We might not need the one for Ganon's Tower, and we don't need the one for Swamp unless there's something in the big chest.
Well, Synack's about to give us that check, providing he's able to stay alive. Oh, I forgot. We had an Randomizer thing that was in play here, and well, we do find a vanilla Moldorm here.
Kind of, mostly vanilla Moldorm. Oh,
Four crystals to beat Ganon and Fast Ganon.
Fast Ganon.
Compasses are not shuffled. Oh wait, we got a compass in the Skullwoods, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Also interesting to note, we could still have to go into Ganon's Tower. Depends on the number of crystals it is to enter. Now, the runners are going to ideally want to see a Ganon's Tower entry that is higher than 4. That will pretty much guarantee that they won't have to go in there at all for anything. At that point, the only thing they'd have to go in there for is well, no, we have 2 swords already, so there's nothing they'd have to go in there for.
Yeah, we also have a fire source too. Fire rod may not be the easiest thing to light those torches with, but it does light up those torches for phase 4.
Yeah, fire rod torch glitch though. If you have to do Master Sword Silverless, that half magic will be nice, and extra bottles will be good too.
Yep, for certain. And
Like,
it looks like
it's
Daaanty.
doable. It's doable to do Master Sword Silverless with no extra magic, and but it's literally you have to get triples on every shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. Okay, Daaanty gonna follow that powder.
Magic bad time. See whether or not that turns out to be anything of importance. I would say that's not important.
No, not at all. I mean, it gets him within 4 rupees of Zora. But no, not important. So let's take a look at this. They can do desert. I'm talking between the 2 of them. So you don't have to mention that Daaanty doesn't have his fire rod yet. But between what we see, they could do desert. We've already done Hera on Dante's side. Pod is doable, and that's what Synack's doing right now. Skullwoods is doable, so I mean, between the we're in a no mode here.
Can I point this out though, Tracy?
Sure.
We're not guaranteed, because remember, we could still be dealing with an Randomizer in some sort in the boss Randomizer.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
Now, that being said,
a
there's
bad
only
spot
one
for a
boss.
Trinex.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's only one boss that we can't beat at this point.
That's true. Yeah, and that would be Trinex. We can also finish Thieves Town. So are there 5 crystals we can do? Of course, if this is like a chaos shuffle, we could have multiple Trinexes. And that would just be rude.
Well, the way that the bosses are shuffled, it's either simple, full, or random.
Yep. This isn't a good time to talk about that, I think.
Yeah.
So the simple being that you're going to have repeats of Armos Knights, Landmole, and Moldorm, basically mimicking the bosses you have in the vanilla game. The full just means that 3 bosses will randomly be chosen to show up twice. And then you have the random or chaos shuffle, where just anything goes. Ooh, and Synack taking a death in Pod. I don't think that was on purpose.
No, he wound up taking a fall there trying to get over to the other side, and he has now chose to abandon it. So at this point, I don't know if Synack's going to make that play to go to 3 and get those boots. I mean, here's the thing with boots. Boots, mobility, go faster. It could be a major advantage.
Yep, could be.
And also, Synack never activated his flute in Kakariko Village.
Yeah, and I'm going to assume that this one didn't come activated, because when daaanty did it, he did activate, and it did play the proper tune that you would hear when you're activating the flute.
So this almost feels like a walk of shame here for Synack having to come back here as he forgot to do that. And daaanty now moving out of the way of the hand. He's going to get a little unfortunate news here that the boots do not.
They're not in the. They are in a different castle. They are not in the part of Skull as you want them to be.
That's right. daaanty getting confirmation of the map here. Does not know what the end goal is just yet. And Synack, you need something heavier in order to lift that rock.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, we may not need mitts here.
You're right. Especially since that only holds up one crystal.
Yeah, it's actually 2, Mire and Turtle Rock, but
Turtle Rock's
we only need 4. Oh, Turtle Rock is a pendant. Why was I looking at that as a crystal? So yeah, definitely don't need mitts this seed. Between the 2 runners, assuming no bad Trinex placements, we do have enough to beat the game, as we said. But we won't know until we see those bosses. And unfortunately, daaanty doesn't have his fire rod, so when he did his Skullwoods dip, he couldn't go to the back either.
Yep. And he's going to go into Thieves Town at this point.
Yep, full clearable crystal for him. Wait, we have the big key here, don't we? Yes, we do.
We have the big key to everything except for Swamp and Ganon's Tower.
And Ganon's Tower, and we don't care about the Ganon's Tower big key at this point. Mm-hmm. And frankly, we don't really care about the Swamp big key either. So getting new checks here. Synack in Desert Palace. And daaanty in Thieves Town. Nice blue mail. That might incentivize Synack to go back to Skullwoods. That extra safety of the blue mail.
And I think that kind of sets the tone that we're not an expert difficulty.
No, we're not even at hard. So that 20 that's sitting there on Spectral Rock, I guess it just represents the flute. Because even hard does not have armor upgrades either.
daaanty, remembering that there's a heart in that room before heading into this next room.
Yeah, 1.5. Not exactly where you want to be going into this part of Thieves Town. He's going to grab this heart early.
Mm-hmm. And there we go.
Oh, yeah. Remember is that you actually don't have to do the back of Thieves Town if it's Randomizer. Or I should say if it's Boss Shuffle.
So I guess the next question is, what boss are we going to find in this Desert Palace?
That's a really good question.
daaanty's going to have to be a little careful here, trying to get enough hits onto this Helmasaur. He finally does. And gets the great reward of a compass. But his second crystal, he's halfway of the goal.
And he'll have to make a decision whether he goes back in to do the checks in the back. Oh, now we'll see what Synack has to fight.
Oh, and boss he can't finish.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a Trinex in desert. So if that's our only Trinex, we should still be good though, because we could do Hera, Pod, Swamp, and Thievestown, and Skull Woods. We should still be good. This means, unfortunately, desert's probably not the one of the crystals are gonna do.
Daaanty opting to return back inside of this Thieves Town, and I think I know why he's making this play. He knows that the boots are here, or at least if he read that opening text. Hoping maybe the fire rod's going to be here so he can go back in. We know it's not, but he's not super far away from it either.
Okay, and Synack's just resetting out of the mushroom check. So he can keep that mushroom for potential fake powder, not knowing that the powder is sitting there on, I believe it was on in Paradox Cave.
Yep.
At this point, Synack really needs to get to Mini Moldorm.
Yeah, he'd feel a whole lot better about himself, and
not going there. Because that's where that hook shot was, and that'll give him a Master Sword.
Now he's fluting away, and he's going to flute.
No, flute to 3. This might be the Skullwoods play.
Yeah, he wants those boots. Magic Cape. Nice safety.
Yep, that's a nice safety. Especially if we end up on Master Sword Silverless, and then it's looking more and more like that's a very real possibility. One of these runners is going to get into a go mode pending Trinexes. I don't think I've ever thought I'd say those words together.
Hashtag things you never think you would say.
Yep.
Until Mystery Week.
Mystery Week does weird things. Let's face it.
You're not wrong there. Last check coming up here for Daaanty, and he sent it. Well, I don't think he meant to take a death there. I think he was just trying to set himself down to 1 heart.
Did he not? He didn't check the big chest, did he?
I think he wanted to put himself down to 1 heart so he could check the big chest.
And then Death Warp, and that makes a lot of sense. But now he's just going to abandon it.
All right, Synack going into the back of Skull Woods. Will he check this bottom chest first? Yes, he will.
Looks like. This is good for Daaanty. If he continues on this path, he'll get his fire rod. I feel like it's going to be a little bit longer before Synack makes that play back to Mini Moldorm to get the hook shot. And there they are, boots.
And there it is, death.
Yeah, that's a good place to Death Warp.
Yep.
Those mummies will still do 1 heart of damage on Blue Mail.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take that long. And he can refill his hearts in this room if he wants to. Of course, we don't know what boss we're going to see here.
I know one we're not going to see. And that's Trinex, because Trinex is illegal to have in the Skull Woods. Right.
Yeah, Trinex is the most limited of the bosses in terms of where he can and cannot show up.
Synack getting bounced around inside of this room here. Finally gets in. Daaanty getting in the fire rod real soon, and another boss that Synack can't beat.
Oh, poor Synack. Yep. Daaanty will be able to do that when he gets here.
Yep.
That's unfortunate for Synack.
I think this really came down to Synack just deciding not to go conventional routing, skipping places like the Mini Moldorm, and he prioritized the boots, which is not a problem.
I liked that he prioritized the boots. I liked that he did the early Skull Woods check, and I liked the early Dark World. But once he was done with that, Especially given that he had a flute, that he could just flute to 7 to get to the dam and then head straight over to Mini Moldorm. I feel like that's the play you got to do next. It's just it's too many items to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And daaanty about to find out that he doesn't really need anything else if he gets lucky on bosses.
Yeah, he is now 2 crystals away from doing damage to Ganon.
And he will be able to finish off the Skull Woods. It's just a matter of will he end up... Well, we can't do Swamp yet. Actually, we would need bits for Swamp because we saw that the flipper sitting there on the floating island. So he'd have to do Pod. But he can do Pod right now, assuming pending with the bosses.
Synack opting to go grab some bombs leads me to believe maybe he might, but doesn't look like he's going where I want him to go.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going. I think...
Thieves Town.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense for Synack. And daaanty realized... I think those bottles, that's a sign that daaanty realizes that he may be in go mode, depending on bosses. Because he's only got, what, 5 hearts? 6 hearts? Wait, let me see again. 7. 7, okay. So right now he's Green Mail, Master Sword Silverless. And that's a really tough fight, so having those extra blue potions is going to help him out.
Yep. Especially when he gets to finding out who the boss of Skull Woods is going to be.
Well, Synack will at least be relieved that when he gets to the boss of Thieves Town, he will be able to beat this one.
Yep.
And it's a shame that daaanty left that blue bottle sitting there on the race game, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense to leave it when he did. But that would make it really a really nice setup for even with Master Sword Silverless having a ton of extra safety.
Oh, for sure.
The unfortunate thing is daaanty probably going to go try his hand at Desert Palace before Pod, and unless we find an ice rod somewhere that we missed, that's not going to happen. I mean, I guess this ice rod could be sitting there on Argus here. And daaanty going to go to the boss. And actually, that makes sense. I wonder if he'll go grab those boots after this.
Yeah, he'll play this out like you normally would throughout Skull Woods. You go to the boss first, and then afterwards you do the bottom. Yeah,
I think so.
Because this would be a perfect time to save and quit when you're down there, as opposed to doing a death warp.
Yep. He's hoping the boots will be on the boss here. We know that's not going to happen, because we saw the boots in the other spot.
And here is Argus for daaanty. He does have the hookshot in order to pull off the puffs. Now, this is going to be an annoying fight.
Yeah, this is not your normal Argus fight.
This is not a good arena for Argus.
Oh, this is terrible. Also, noting that Synack did not go to the boss. He's treating Thieves Town as he normally would, and maybe he may just feel like I need to full clear it anyway, or maybe just he didn't remember that you don't need to grab the maiden in this situation.
Maybe he's hoping to get some safeties before he goes to the boss, because he's only got 5 hearts total.
That could be too.
daaanty looking to go into the first of his potions right there. Because you tackle Argus, he takes 2 hearts away from you.
Not to mention spikes.
Now, thankfully, he doesn't go completely the way he does normally, but he's still not fun to deal with. But that's it. 3 crystals now for daaanty. Yay, there's the compass.
I guess we'll get to find out what's in this big chest over at Thieves Town. Cane of Samaria, which is a very important item normally today, not so much.
And Daaanty now knows by process of elimination that the boots are here.
Okay, so my guess is he's going to flute on over to 6 and try a new Desert Palace and be very disappointed when he can't. And then probably a trip to Pod. Meanwhile, Synack going to go ahead and kill Helmosaur for his first crystal.
Well, he's going to try to. Blue Mail does make Helmosaur a little easier, but still 5 hearts. Not a lot of hearts.
Doing a nice job of avoiding those fireballs.
Yeah, hopefully, well, that's unfortunate now. I was going to say, if he knows where he is on the count, he could despawn the fireball right there. But took care of the mask a little too early, but there's the first crystal for Synack.
See that Dante's making some of these extra checks. I suppose if there was an ice rod in one of these, then he could actually finish this. But a bug net's not going to do it.
Maybe even looking for a tempered sword.
Tempered sword would be nice. I'm sure he'd appreciate a tempered sword.
All right, Synack, are you going to flute to 7? Nope. Yep.
Yep, he is.
You're just taking the long way there. I actually forgot what was on that torch. It was just 50 rupees.
Yeah, we definitely don't need that. Dante still has plenty of money to buy more potions if he so desires. And I doubt he goes as far out of the way as something like Zora.
So in the meantime, while we wait for Daaanty to get there, we'll go ahead and introduce our team since we didn't get a chance to do so a little bit earlier. The 2019 Titans Mint at 2019, sitting with 18 points, a 6-2 record, trying to keep up pace with the Pug Trio, featuring Daaanty, Edium, and Sailor Nep. Sailor Nep is going to be in play for the Titans Mint 2019, coming up against the other member of the Bomb Squad besides myself and Synack. That would be F. Coughlin. That's coming up Friday at 6 o'clock. We're currently sitting with a 4-4 record and a very stacked Kakariko division.
Okay, so Synack gets his Master Sword, gets his hook shot. We'll see if he goes back to Skullwoods again. And still no Ice Rod, so Daaanty gonna save and quit out of here, because we can't do anything.
Sorry, can't beat that.
Which means probably, again, I suspect he'll head over to Pod. Now, if Pod is sitting there with the Trinex, and I think that is one of the places the Trinex can show up.
Yes, it can.
Then now things get interesting.
And I love how many times that Trinex likes to show up inside of the Palace of Darkness. I've had countless Randomizers during the course of the latter and last season's league where Trinex likes to camp out inside the Palace of Darkness.
Now, the good news is, it is a little less likely that he would show up there. There are two. There's a version of the boss shuffle, the simple boss shuffle, where he simply cannot show up again. And the other two, he could show up twice, but less likely that, the odds are less likely he'd be there if it's a, what's the middle one called? The full, where we get 3 repeating bosses, but it's randomly which ones repeat. Now, of course, if it's that full-on Chaos Ball Shuffle, then anything goes, and would not be surprised to see him here.
Yep, simple, full, or random.
Random.
And by the way, if there is a Trinex here in the Palace of Darkness, then we are definitely not in Go mode.
Nope.
We will need at least 2 more items, if not if that Ice Rod is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, we either need to. Yeah, we would need to find the ice rod to do one of the Trinex fights, or we'd need to find mitts, which would allow us to get flippers to go do Swamp Palace. Or mitts would also allow us to do Misery Mire, so that would be a possibility as well. And that might actually be quicker now that I think about it.
Depending on the medallion.
Oh, good point. Oh, we have Bombos. Okay.
You know, I thought daaanty was actually going to do a speedrun trick there, but he was just trying to hit the switch. He's going right straight for the boss. He wants to see if this is going to be beatable.
Yep, absolutely. A little surprised he doesn't pick up one of the heart pots there, because this is actually one of the places you would like to have sword beams, because it does save a bit of menu and or quick swap time down in the bottom.
And it still also very well could be a beatable, which means that we have no guarantee we're going to find the mirror.
That could be beatable. Beatable basically meaning that everything you need to beat the game will still be there, but it does not guarantee you can get all the items. The simplest example would be in a beatable seed, you could have Boots sitting on the desert torch.
Or Mirror in Swamp.
Or Mirror in Swamp. I like the Boots of the desert torch because it just tells you everything you need to know about it.
Oh yeah, for certain.
Mirror in Swamp, you would never know it unless you full cleared the rest of the game.
There's the big key for Misery Mire for Synack. And all right, get your guesses in the chat. What boss are we going to find here in the Palace of Darkness? And the answer is not Trinex. Daanty's and go.
Argus. It is Argus. So we are not in simple boss shuffle at the very least.
Daanty's going to have to be a little careful here. Down to 3 hearts at this stage. Daanty gonna have to be careful here.
Okay, finishes it off.
And there it is for Daanty now. Get a big key for our efforts. That turns out to be the big key of Swamp Palace. So we will never see the Ganon's Tower big key.
No, we will not. I wonder if he's gonna. He's got an empty bottle. I wonder if he'll go ahead and flute over to the potion shop and fill that up before he heads over to Ganon. I think that'd be a reasonable thing to do.
Dealing with the Master Sword fight coming up here. Oh,
has to get he might, maybe. He has to get the torch glitch with the fire rod, which is more difficult, and harder to spam with the fire rod because you don't want to waste all that magic that you're going to need for those spins. It looks like he's just going to go for it. He does have a blue. Still has a blue to use, so he does have that extra safety. And he does have the half magic, so that still gives him quite a few spins.
And there's the second crystal for Synack as Daanty gets ready to go up against this Ganon and get ready. We're going to do a whole lot of spinning.
Oh, he's going to grab... Okay. Too. Yeah, grab the fairy. Yeah, I mean, to get to the potion shop at this point, he'd have to save and quit, flute over there, and then go from there. So I guess I don't really blame him for not going for it. If he'd had a mirror, it'd make more sense.
Here we go. 52 spins. Nice spot here. We can get a couple of double hits. Oh, beautiful setup.
Has that cape selected if he needs it. This is the scariest round of the this phase. This is the scary phase.
Yeah. He's got 8 hits on him. Oh, that's a nasty setup location, too.
Yeah, just gonna use that cape for a little bit. I don't blame him one bit.
He's gonna go ahead and hug the wall for right now.
Yeah, and the cape has that interesting thing going on with it where if you're holding on to something, it doesn't drain magic.
Mm-hmm. We're down to 28 spins remaining.
Yeah, and he's got the fairy, so if he does take a hit, he will get filled up. He doesn't want to use the blue potion at this point unless he needs it for magic.
Stop warping!
That's a lot of warp, Scannon, please.
Just because he's 52 spins doesn't mean he has to be 52 warps.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now is the critical time.
Did you find the arrows in Swamp Palace? No, in fact, we did not find the silver arrows in Swamp Palace. And we do miss Torch Glitch.
And he's going to fall down
yeah,
and give
I don't
up right
blame
away.
him. I don't blame him one bit for not wanting to do this without a Torch Glitch.
Yeah. Little does he know at this point, he's got himself a solid lead with Synack still on his way to his 3rd crystal. Now, he just got to get over to the desert to finish that off, but Dante's still got probably a good 3-4 minutes to work with here.
Okay, round 2. Now, maybe he'll get better warp pattern.
I would hope so. Can't get all that much worse.
Oh, that was a pretty bad one. He does have less magic to work with, though. But if he gets that Torch Glitch, that saves so much.
Mm-hmm. I think he's got still another bottle.
Yeah, he's got a blue. He's got a blue and a fairy.
He's gonna go ahead. Oh, I don't think he wanted to use the fairy right there.
No, but it's getting used.
That was an unfortunate run out of the cave.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to refill that magic before he can even light the torch.
Synack getting a little bothered here by Argus. Hopefully he can get through this fight. He does have a red potion if he needs it. And we'll choose to use that right now. Alright, he needs to fill up his magic, so here we go. Stage number 4. Get reminded that the arrows are in Swamp Palace.
Gets the torch glitch this time. Okay. Now, he does have leeway here, so if this were without the half magic, you'd have to hit triples every single time. So you have that leeway of that half magic. You get twice as much time out of it, essentially.
And we do know that Dante does have some execution. He does have an execution advantage over Synack.
Yeah, these are looking really good.
Yeah. Dante, who made it to the final 4 of the secondary tournament in the last major tournament that we had. Some say he could actually have played in the main tournament. But Dante continuing to do his spins. Missed out the opportunity to do so that time. Just going to have to go ahead and light the torch. Synack filling up some bottles. I'm being corrected in chat.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I'm like, what was Dante doing in the secondary tournament? This guy's pretty good.
I'll cite my source, or I'll look up my sources at another time. But it's going to be too little, too late for Synack, as the Titans Mitt of 2019 will keep pace with the Pug Trio and have sent the Bomb Squad to defeat here in the first of the 2 games between these 2 teams. Get your GGs in the chat.
And finishing up with an official race time of 54:03. So, I mean, no surprise you're getting if you're getting a sub 1 hour with a 4 crystal fast cannon, but still very well done. I mean, that's by no means easy to do when who knows where those swords were. So you're basically forced to do Master Sword Silverless to do this at any kind of fast time.
Get these runners in here and do some discussions about this coming up here in just a moment. Well, this wasn't a 3-hour masterpiece like the last times I've done this. And Synack has seen the results and have hit the I'm done. I'm all right.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, it would have been a tough, to do. He knows he's probably going to be stuck on Master Sword Silverless too. So we have daaanty in chat. GG's, nicely done.
Yo, thanks. GG. This was quite the ride.
So, and we also have Synack joining us. Yeah, that 4 crystals fast cannon didn't take a whole lot for you all to get into go mode, but that Trinex at Desert made it a little bit slower.
Okay, now I can hear you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I was super disappointed that Trinex was there, because I was like, well, Desert's going to be faster than Pod, but it's really going to depend on what boss is where.
Yep.
And I kind of got lulled to sleep because, Moldorm, I knew he had different eyes, so I was reminded it's Randomizer, but boss only, it's super easy to forget. And it's just a huge mess. And I was telling Synack after he forfeited that I totally blanked on the Skullwoods boots hint. I thought it was a joke because we had hints turned off in for the league mystery settings. So I just assumed that was a joke and put that off. I'm glad it didn't burn me too bad.
I'm actually kind of glad that I put that in the documentation. I thought I did, that I documented that setting. I don't remember actually putting it in there. The Uncle Spoiled boots location. I'm gonna check it right now. 1 second.
So, speaking of those boots, I mean, yesterday I commentated a seed where I asked the runner, "Hey, the boots hint had it in Castle Tower, and you guys just kept avoiding." He's like, "What? There was a boots hint?" So just completely missed it. There was one altogether. So.
Oh yeah, it was on. It's a 70% chance.
Yeah, it's just I wasn't expecting it, so I'm kind of dumb sometimes, and
for what it's worth, I wasn't expecting it either. In fact, I mashed through that text. I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention, but I saw the word boots and skull, and then I realized, oh, okay, those 2 words stuck out at me. But
yeah, and then
I didn't pay attention to text at all.
And then just to troll you, you couldn't get them when you had the 10-minute standard mode Dark World access, which is really quick Dark World access, and you went there. Yeah, sorry, not in this part of the Skull Woods.
I know, it was pretty disappointing. What I will say is, what was up with the this had a lot of big keys front loaded in it.
I know.
Yeah,
we were.
I think it's a consequence of the beatable only.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking.
Do you think it was a beatable only? Because we speculated it might be. I don't know if you could tell.
I looked it up afterwards. Yes.
Oh.
that works. So we were never getting those flippers.
No,
possibly not.
I didn't pull the entire spoiler log. I just pulled the settings the bot used. So good to be the king, I guess. I don't know.
I do want to correct something that I was saying a few moments ago, because I did look it up here. It was not daaanty I was talking about. It was Dracarys that I had gotten mixed up. It's both with a D, okay?
There's a few A's in there, so I can see you could definitely mix those up.
Yeah. So you're now 6-0 in this league. What's got you running through all these teams like this?
That 2019 energy, I guess, because that's kind of where the stupid name came from. Because in the first league, we didn't really think we were the best team. We just thought, all right, well, we can maybe do sort of well, and we made playoffs, which was kind of a stretch goal for season 1, and then season 2 we made playoffs again, but we didn't really get very far. And then with the Invitational, we figured, well, we're not considered one of the top teams anymore. We're going to need some underdog energy, and it's working for right now. I can't say it's going to carry on, but we'll ride it as long as we can.
More importantly, with the win, you now keep pace with Pug Trio sitting at 21 points.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight race down the line, I think. It's going to be tough. 80 keys, especially, we have them next week. And I mean, we very well could go, 0-2, which is a real possibility. I mean, any week is a very real possibility to go 0-2 in the Invitational. So we're just going to take it one game at a time and see how things, stack up each game.
Are you playing in that one next week?
No, I'm going to take my 1 week off next week. So I'll be back for the Randomizer after that.
Against the Sexy Ganons. Well, let's see how that goes. So coming up next up for both of these two teams, you have Sailor Nep versus F. Coughlin coming up Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Any words of encouragement you want to say to Sailor Nep, Daaanty?
I totally believe that she's got this, and I know I've got two of you guys team here, so don't gang up on me here. But, it's mystery. Anything can happen. So I trust Nep's judgment. She's pretty good at this game.
And turning to Synack, Fred, anything you want to say to Fred?
I believe in you, Fred. No, Fred is during mystery week, so during the spoiler key sanity week, it was the level of focus Fred had, even when I was actually actively distracting him with trying to point out safeties, and he was just no, gotta move forward. So I feel really good about Fred's low percent play and how well he can pull that off. So I feel really good about it, especially if we get another seed like this, where it's very much lowish percent.
Yeah, I'd call this.
You did get yeah, I mean, you did get half magic. That was relatively
half magic was important. I mean, I know Daaanty, you probably wouldn't have wanted to try and do that. I don't blame you for ducking out again and after missing that torch glitch. But still, that half magic and a blue bottle for your backup is not a whole lot of safety there.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to I didn't think I had enough to do that, and I didn't want to math it out in my head. I figured, all right, we'll go try and face tank him again, and in the whole death where I use the fairy, this happens in the league a lot. I think I'm using the cape, and I think I'm grabbing the wall, and I'm just not. And you run out of magic when that happens, and then you're dead. So
Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, but it was just quite the hellacious timing right there.
Yeah, it was super unfortunate. I'm glad I remembered to look over at my tracker, and I was like, oh, hey, I've got a bug net. I should probably steal this fairy just in case.
Yeah, it was a good call. We speculated you might just go ahead and get another blue potion. Without a mirror, that would have been quite the time sink to go ahead and save and quit, go over to the potion shop, grab another blue potion, and then have to go use it or go have it for you. So I think with a mirror, maybe that'd be the play. But without a mirror, I think not doing that maybe is the better answer.
Yeah, finding a lamp would have been a nicer play for Master Sword Silverlist, or a third sword. That would have also been
nice. Either one of those.
But it's mysteries, so sometimes you have to go to Ganon in 5 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, and of course, we weren't getting those silvers sitting there in Swamp Palace. So no, we did not find the silvers in Swamp Palace. Thank you. No, we didn't see those. Yeah, especially with those flippers sitting there on the floating island. So
yeah, that would have been really hard to do. But thank you guys for doing the commentary for this and all that. I really appreciate all the volunteers, and just wanted to say thanks, and GG's again to Synack. This was quite a ride.
Oh yeah, this was actually like the boss shuffle. Like really kind of put like an extra kind of twist on it. Because otherwise, like if the boss shuffle wasn't there, your path would have been pretty freaking clear immediately.
Yep.
But the boss shuffle really kind of put a wrench in that.
And it made it interesting at the end because we weren't sure that you all were in go mode until we saw that it was not a Trinex sitting there in pod. So
Yeah.
that was like the one thing going through my brain. Like this is a Trinex.
Yeah, that was
I'm
really
firing my
unfortunate.
bot.
That was really unfortunate luck for you there, Synack. The fact that you dropped into Skull Woods, that was your first or second
no, he
place.
did desert first, or tried to
Yeah,
desert first.
but you will go into desert. Hey, look, here's Trinex. You can't beat him. You go into Skull Woods. Hey, look, there's Argus. You can't beat him.
Yep.
And that just comes down to rough luck at that point.
Yeah.
Plus, the fact that daaanty decided to go conventional route at the very beginning and went to South Shore to get the Master Sword plus the hook shot, which
Yep.
really I think was the decider in the end.
All right. Well, I got nothing else here. I'm gonna go back
Alright.
to playing World of Warcraft.
Okay, well, you have fun doing that.
Well, GG's to both of you.
Yeah, GG's to both of you, and thank you all for running and for joining us in the interview. And
Thanks, guys.
let's see. So that's
Thanks,
there's
Danny.
not much. Yeah. Go ahead, Synack.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to start reading the schedule off. So if you have something more to add, then go ahead and add it now.
I was just saying thanks, daaanty, and then I kind of cut myself off.
Okay. Okay, so that is going to do it for us. But I will go ahead and read off the schedule. There is one more game tonight at 10:10. The Immortals, or sorry, Team Kappa versus the Immortals. That is Gamachu versus Hula Ninja. That'll be Fear Asian versus Shireen. Fear Asian, I believe, is a teammate of Gamachu's, and Fear is pretty interesting when he's commentating for his teammates. So that'll be a fun one. We do have 3 matches tomorrow that I'll go ahead and read off for those of you that want to break from your Thanksgiving dinners. We have Shacktool's Digging Game versus Warfjig. Shacktool's Digging Game versus Did You Check Your Boot? Ashdar versus Warfjig. We have 2 Pearl, 2 Furious versus that first one at 4:10. At 5:30, 2 Pearl, 2 Furious versus Team Jaime. Scary Olive versus Ravis. And then at 8:10, we have Waffle House Drive-Thru versus Fendrano Drifters. Matt 7898 versus Frostbite. That Fendrano's Drifters team, the last undefeated team in the league this season. So definitely don't want to miss any of those. And of course, a whole lot more scheduled for this weekend. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for us. I'd like to thank Adirondack Rick for joining me on commentary. Always a great time. MM2 Nest Cartridge, who we have not mentioned, I don't think at all, so definitely not mentioned enough for doing the tracking, clicking those buttons behind the scenes, and of course all the people running the league and around in the background in SpeedGaming, setting things up for us. Thank you to all of them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And to everybody, please have yourselves a great evening. And thank you for joining us here. We'll see you again a little bit later on for that next match. And for those of you who are celebrating it tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us.